After the last episode, I was going to put a poll on the WNUT Twitter and YouTube for today's hot button topic. I was going to let people vote, you know. Then I saw a video pop up on my YouTube feed last week that was the perfect follow-up to last episode's discussion. Also, the greatest video title in history. So I thought, that's it. That's the discussion for episode 30. This comes courtesy of the Elvis Duran Show, and it is as follows. How many times a year is it acceptable to poop yourself as an adult?
Well, normally I would say 0, but I'm going to say 1 at this point.
Why did you arrive at that number?
Because that's how many times I've done it this year.
What?
Did you not just experience that segment we just had?
Okay. I thought you were talking about some other time.
No.
And I was going to go back and just tear you apart for all that shit you said last episode about how you don't blah, 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 and this and that, and you only have had two, you made poor social choices one time, and then you did the knuckle thing the other time, and I was gonna call bullshit. My takeaway is this: I didn't realize it was acceptable. You know?
Yeah, no, that's true.
So the fact that we're debating how many times a year kind of opens up a whole new world to me. Like this is something we can take advantage of this. Walking through Times Square, you can't find a public restroom. You know what? Fuck it. It's like you got the emergency pressure laying a beat down on your bowels. It's cool, y'all. I hadn't done it yet this year, so I got a poop yourself free card, and you just let it go.
If you're in Times Square, you just drop a squat in the middle of the road.
That's
what everybody else does.
That's a bad geographic example because most of the people there wouldn't even notice, or it
wouldn't change the smell.
It happens too often. But I'm just saying, like, so you're walking through the center of North Augusta.
Yeah, okay, very different.
That's a place where people don't poop themselves.
No, they don't.
Very often around other human beings. Say you're walking into church, whatever it may be. Well, I haven't done it yet this year. I can't get to the restroom. Restroom's on the other side of the sanctuary.
Yep.
Maybe it's like, a call to worship or something, and I don't know my church terms, but I'm envisioning a scenario where there's a shit ton of people, and you can't
together.
Get through them. Yeah, so you just go, you know what? I haven't done it yet. I'm going to drop it, and then you do.
Yeah,
but it's okay because you haven't yet, and there's a number above 0 that is socially acceptable
per year. Though to me, that seems too short of a period of time. But then again, when you're talking adults, so like if we're talking, are we talking over 70? Or are we talking between like 25 and 70?
Yeah, this doesn't say as a senior citizen. This just says as an adult. So I'm assuming from the time you join the workforce
Can we
drive
have
a car.
Decimal number.
I'm going to say 8, from the time you're 18, 21, somewhere in there.
Can we say like 0.25? Like every 4 years it's okay?
I suppose you could. Yeah, there's no reason that we couldn't.
I mean, because people are going to have an accident. Mistakes are going to happen.
Right.
You're going to get food poisoning.
Right.
Something's going to occur once every 4 or 5 years.
Yeah. You can technically mathematically turn one time every X years into a number, so that's okay.
I think that's acceptable. I wouldn't imagine you'd have that happen every year.
I just have a feeling that the Elvis Duran Show was thinking it would be at least a whole number per year. They probably had one or more in mind. But there's nothing in the rules that states you can't do a point, whatever.
Yeah. Are they suggesting that someone might say 3 times a year?
I guess. That's the thing I didn't do was watch the video.
Oh, yeah. Well, why would you though?
The number then in your case would be between 0.2 and 0.25.
Yeah.
That's the acceptable annual self-shitting.
I would imagine so, yeah. At least for myself.
Yeah. Or to throw a duke.
Yeah.
My thing is, I don't even necessarily have a position on this that I'm passionate about. I'm just curious to know, like, what everybody else's number would be. I kind of want to know where society would put it. Like, let's say we got together and eventually made some legislation on this. What would it come to?
At what point do we give them the Scarlet Duke?
I'm a forgiving person. So, like, if you were to shit yourself right now, I'm not going to hold it against you. I will probably bring it up in the future. I'll probably rib you a little bit about it, but it's going to be good-natured.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not going to be like, eviscerating you about it. You're definitely not going to feel shame. You're just going to kind of get your balls busted.
Feel shitty.
Yeah, you'll feel a little shitty about it. But, I think as a society, we can be a little bit more forgiving than we tend to be. It's ones like Corey from North Augusta who was afraid of the reputation following him if he should shit himself at work for 1,000. He shouldn't live in that fear, is my point.
Well, my thing was that my shit's worth more than that. Whereas his, I think, is he's worried that that's going to socially annihilate himself.
Right.
But Corey from North Augusta, one thing you got to remember, dude, is at some point you're going to have a stomach virus.
Yeah.
At some point, you're going to have too much B12 in your system, and you're not actually shitting. You're pissing out your butthole.
I think Sheen from Houston should remember this too, because she's going to miss out on $1,000 hypothetically because she's afraid. Or
potentially even more. Negotiation is important in life.
But see, she's afraid of the social stigma, is my guess. Originally, she was afraid that there would be disciplinary action, like you would get punished for shitting yourself, which is even...
In situations that Commander Weber won't allow me to speak about, I know that some of those do exist.
Yeah.
But we'll have to talk about those off air, maybe in a a Patreon episode or something.
Yeah. I was fascinated by just the concept that there is an acceptable number.
That really kind of fucks with me.
Yeah. So does this change things? Like if you learn that there's, say, like a consensus on 1, 2, 3 times a year, would that then change the amount of money that you would do the other thing for?
It would 100% change the type of underwear I wear.
Well, I guess you're still not getting $1,000 then, huh?
No, not going to do it.
But between 0.2 and 0.25 for Carl, I'm saying, like whatever the number is, I'm just okay with it. Like I'm not going to say, hey, cap it at 2 or 3. I'm just going to say, like, say I knew a chronic shitter.
Yeah.
Say I knew a chronic self-shitter.
Okay, you know a chronic self-shitter.
That person, thank you for saying that. That person is still a valuable person to me. I don't judge that person. Yeah. I might not let them sit on like, my good gaming chair or something like that, but they're still just as valuable a person to me.
So I'm trying to, when I put my numbers out there, I'm trying to guess what the acceptable number is. I'm not saying that that's what I consider acceptable.
Yeah.
Well, okay. I would say that, yes, I do kind of consider that as acceptable, though, because that's why I'm guessing that.
Yeah.
But
I can go for like 2. I can
really 2 a year.
I can firmly say, like, if say somebody were to shit themselves twice a year, I'm not
consistently.
I'm not going to judge that person. It doesn't have to be every year, but if they do, like, I don't see them as less of a human being. If somebody comes at me and they're like 6, 7 times a year, I will recommend that they go see their enterologist and handle this problem.
Somebody needs to see a gastroenterologist.
Right. But I mean, they're still a person. They still they still got a mom that loves them.
As long as they're not doing that like on purpose. On my couch.
Yeah, and that was the point that I made to Nasheen. I was like, if you're aggressively doing it at someone, then that's you would deserve to be fired, as would this person.
Whole different world then.
Yeah. So, we can't have that. But if it's just happening and you can't control it, 2 is I would say that's
a rough year, though.
You make it through a couple of seasons.
That's a bad year.
Right, it is a bad year. But we can up to that point we can look the other way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Beyond that, make an appointment. Go see your doctor.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say.